You guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bo, you got to hit the end record button. What's up, everybody?
What's up, Matt? Hi, Lauren.
Hi, guys. How are we this evening?
We are terrific. Welcome to Orlando Brokers and Bourbon, the podcast where we talk about the world of real estate in Central Florida, what is happening here in Orlando, and indulge in, you guys are killing me. We indulge in the finest bourbon that Bo gives to everybody except for me. Cheers, everybody.
He's not sad about it at all.
Matt.
Oh, I know.
Cheers,
I
Matt.
get it.
Cheers, everyone.
Love you. Cheers, Lauren.
How are you all? By the way, my name is Matt Allen. I'm with the Matt Allen Real Estate in Florida.
And I am Lauren Foley. I'm with Julian Properties.
And I'm Bo Julian with Julian Properties. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys tonight.
Yes. Thanks for joining us tonight. Just so you know, if you are a first-time listener or watcher, keep in mind we are on YouTube at Brokers and Bourbon. We can also be found on iHeartMedia, Amazon, Apple, I think, or where, as they say, or wherever you watch your podcasts. So how's everybody doing tonight?
We're good, dude. We've got some bourbon in the glass, and just to start our bourbon talk off here,
Yeah.
I wish that I were at the point in my life that I could have a giant selection of bourbon, but
Yeah.
I'm not. So I am going back to Blanton's, but it's not a bad place to be because going back to Blanton's.
Back to Blanton's.
So, Lauren, I'm on the Blanton's team tonight.
Yes.
Too.
Where are you at, Matt? Poor man's Blanton's over there?
Julian's Properties gets Blanton's. Matt Allen Real Estate Team drinks Maker's Mark.
Oh,
Maker's 46 is delicious.
Yeah.
I do not hate on Maker's.
Yeah.
I was gonna just talk about this one real quick because everybody knows Blanton's, is a Buffalo Trace product. It's highly allocated, hard to find unless you're Bo Julian. Then you can find it apparently anywhere.
He buries them in his backyard.
But Maker's is actually Maker's 46 isn't as hard to find. And I was just going to give you some details on that one. Bill Samuels was the guy that invented Maker's Mark. His son started Maker's Mark 46 in, I think, 1956 is what I think I read. But what they do is they take Maker's, this is a little older, and then they do seared oak staves. Do you guys know what an oak stave is?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It's like
think oak stick that they stick in the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it. But I think they light it on fire first and then put it in there. So it's wheated. So it's a I'm a weeder guy, so it's a little sweeter. Wheat is sweet. Oak is
It's delicious. I was trying to find my card for you guys to show you. I'll have to bring it on the next one, but I am a Maker's Mark ambassador.
Oh, like an actual card member?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to drink a lot of Maker's
without
Mark
it.
back in my day, and I can tell you more about that later. But yeah, I used
Very cool.
to drink a lot. So I became a Maker's Mark ambassador. And when you become an ambassador, they put a barrel in your name, and they do a whole barrel basically. So if you want, you can schedule a time whenever it's ready to drink to go to the distillery and drink your bottle, your barrel from your barrel. It's actually really cool. And you can bottle it.
That's
that?
awesome.
So do you have a barrel at Maker's Mark that's called Lauren Foley?
So I did have a barrel, but that was a long time ago. And I never, because they go through them, right? Like they assign them and they go through them. But
wow.
I didn't make it to Kentucky to the distillery in time to drink from my barrel, but it is on one of my dreams to make it to the distillery one of these days. 'Cause I think it'd be a really cool trip.
That's what we need to do is do a
Remote. We'll do remote location.
yes.
Right.
Maybe do a bourbon brokers and bourbon barrel we pick and
Yeah.
model.
I'm in.
Okay.
Maker's Mark, we're talking to you.
Yeah, if you're listening,
Oh, they're definitely listening.
yes.
All right.
So, Lauren, what's happening here in Orlando on the social
Well-
scene or anything happening?
Well, guys, yeah, we've got Arnold Palmer Invitational coming up next week, which
By the way,
driving around, I was like, I was getting my tickets, but I hadn't like actually purchased them yet. So yesterday I was driving and I saw all the signs and I was like, oh shit, that's Tuesday. That starts next week, the 5th.
100%. We're ready.
Fired up.
Yep.
This is going to be your number like 30 for me, I think.
Yeah. So
That's
those of you that
incredible, though.
don't know what we're talking about, Lauren, you want to just give them a 30-second on Bay Hill, Arnold Palmer, API?
Yeah. So the Arnold Palmer Invitational is one of the largest golf tournaments. I'm not a golfer, so anybody else can kind of step in here wherever needed, but it takes place at Bay Hill, which is a prestigious community here in Central Florida in Orlando. It's a beautiful golf course and it's a really fun event. It starts on Tuesday the 5th and it runs until Sunday. And anybody else have anything to add that maybe I didn't cover there about the tournament?
The fun starts usually on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
Depends on who you are, Julian.
Thursday for me. Well, hey, buddy, they're doing a Thursday throwback this year. There's like a whole thing going on. This
Yeah,
year,
that's sold
right?
out too, Bo.
I know. This is the thing. So the party's starting Thursday this year, Matt. So you need to get in with the crew here.
I can't
Yeah,
hang in.
it's going to be a rager.
Yeah. No, it's a really good
Great
time.
event.
And it's the best golfers in the world that show up here. Bay Hill's a great community.
You can talk to them. You can see them. You
Yeah.
can get their autographs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right there. It's parties all over the place. I mean, you walk the course with them. Special
I think
events.
the first this year, if I'm not mistaken, somebody was saying it was like $20 million. So
Well, because now Live and the PGA have kind of joined up,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
the
Oh,
purse got
yeah.
bigger. So
Yep.
it's pretty exciting stuff, man. Somebody's gonna make a wad of cash.
yeah. Just for a weekend, sure.
Not bad. Not bad.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. I've got tickets on Friday. I'm doing the Wine Down event, so I'm looking forward to
Oh, and
Wine and Dine.
Town?
that. Yeah.
Very cool. Very
That's a
cool.
really
Yeah.
cool event. I haven't been to that in
Yep.
years, but we used to go to that every year, and that was a lot of fun. That's
So-
a really great
so-
event.
I didn't get a ticket, Bo. Come with me.
I might maybe I'll jump on
They
the
used
bandwagon.
to,
Let's see
used
what
to
it's
sell out in seconds. Like they would
Yeah.
sell out in like 2 minutes. I don't know if it's still like that. The last time I went was like 2 weeks before COVID hit. And I swear I got so sick at that event. I still to this day think for some reason I may have caught COVID, but that's a whole other story.
Well, that
But
is
that's the last time I
Don't
also
worry, guys.
I
COVID's not
also
real, right? Just kidding.
I was also eating oysters, so that could have been it too. So
Oh yeah,
that's
that's very
uplifting.
possible. I know. Yeah, very very uplifting. So get yourself
Yes.
to Arnold Palmer
Sorry.
Invitational. It's gonna be a great time, and you might get COVID.
Then you might take over.
What? No, that's not what I
Super
said.
spreader.
Come
on
on.
down.
Oh,
Oh dear.
a couple things I thought were exciting is Camping World Stadium. They've been talking for a while about making some changes to it and giving it a little bit of a facelift, and they were just allocated essentially 400 million in tourism tax dollars to improve the stadium. So essentially, they're going to connect the east and west sides to kind of make it more of like a full bowl, because I guess they're not
Oh,
connected.
yeah.
And they also just announced that the U.S. National men's soccer team is going to be playing their game here, their match, that's the appropriate word, against Brazil in June. So I think
Wow.
we're getting some really
And I'll tell
cool
ya.
sporting events here in the city. So
Yeah, I'll be
Orlando
excited
is
when they get that
rocking.
stadium done. I think that's going to be really cool. They've already got, they need it, right? That thing has been they did a pretty good facelift on it a few years back, but they just didn't have the funds to finish it out. So it's pretty exciting. They're getting that kind of money, and it looks like they're going to do a really good job. So I think that's going to bring a lot of really great new events to Orlando that we've been missing out on to Tampa and Miami. So super excited about it.
Yeah, they said in one of the articles I read that there were 6 major events that took place last year. They're looking to double that. So I'm not sure how long the work is going to take, but they are making improvements, of course, around the city and around the city with that new canopy under the I-4. They're redoing the whole development district. So there's tons of improvements happening downtown Orlando. It's super exciting. My only wish for the city is that they would add some sort of overhang over the Camping World Stadium, so that maybe a retractable roof, so that when you go to events,
they were going to do that, but they didn't get the funding for it. That was actually one of the things. They got the 450 million, but I think they needed like 600 million or something. So that's the next.
We just got to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you 100%. But one day.
One day.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Matt, you have any updates for us here on the real estate market?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of talk about what's been happening or what I'm seeing. We're kind of business as usual, although I will give the positive outlook that things are definitely picking up. We're seeing listings and buyers are out and about. If you're out on the weekends, you're seeing more open houses, more activity at the open houses. I don't think interest rates have changed all that much from our last podcast. They're still running in the 7-ish, maybe high 6s. So that's really not coming into play here, at least here in Central Florida. It's not coming into play too much, but I think we're kind of past the holidays. People are out and about. They're looking. I did see that our inventory dropped, which tells me that there's people buying houses obviously faster than they're putting them on the market, which is a good sign. But I still think those sellers need to get off these sidelines, get their house in the market, and get things going. Because I really don't see huge price increases over the next year or even 6 months. I think we're kind of level. I don't know. What do you guys think as far as that's concerned with price points? Do you think we're going to continue to rise, stay put? What do you think? Don't all speak at once.
Lauren, ladies first.
I was going to say, go ahead, Bo. In terms of prices, I think that prices will continue to rise. Unfortunately, that's my prediction here. I know that I've recently seen that they are kind of inching up a little bit. Inventory all around is starting to increase. I'm seeing more each day I log into the MLS. I'm seeing more and more come to market. So I think that that's a good thing. But again, very hyper local, depending on which area you're in, what market you're looking in, even what neighborhood you're looking in. Because if everyone's looking in that neighborhood, it's a pretty good chance that inventory is going to go pretty quick. So it really just depends.
Yeah.
Yep. And just so you know, let me preface, when I say inventory has dropped, I am looking at the net figure. So there might be lots more houses coming on the market, but if you look at the overall, and a great resource is Monday Morning Quarterback. You kind of look at that. Right. They've been dropping, I think, for the last 2 weeks. I haven't looked this week. I haven't had a chance, but which tells me, yes, there's a lot more houses going on the market, but they're going under contract faster than they're going on the market, if that makes sense.
Yep. Especially, I agree. I've seen that anything that's nice, clean, and they're definitely selling. And I don't know about pricing. It's kind of interesting. I think we're going to see that probably in the next month or two is kind of going to tell the tale, I guess, as far as where this market's going to go, because we're just getting ready to kind of hop into that spring. We got March here just a few days away. And, I think we did plateau there for a little bit. I don't really, in certain areas, like you said, I think in a lot of areas, it's just kind of stayed the same. Maybe some areas dropped a slight small percentage on the outlying areas. But to the point of that inventory, there's really not a lot out there. And the houses that are out there that are staying out there, they are more days on market for the ones that need work.
Mhm.
And I think that those sellers are just not realistic.
Right.
And I think
Prices are probably too high to begin with.
yeah, they were pushing the envelope too much. And, the nice ones, they're just kind of helping sell the other properties, quite frankly,
Yeah. Well,
the nice
I think you just said it with the nice ones versus it may not even be price. It might be desirability, which I'm seeing a lot of. If the house is desirable by somebody, it's going very quickly. If it, and I see this in neighborhoods, people use price per square foot, but they're not looking apples to apples as far as finishes and things like roofs and things like that. So that's
right.
definitely something you want to keep in mind.
That's what makes our job so key, right? Because we can take a look at those things. We know what to look for when we're thinking about price and consideration for offers and putting homes on the market. So,
yeah. Well, cool. So that's kind of what's happening in the market. We were talking before we jumped on, and we thought it'd be interesting to kind of move into a different avenue or something that we get a lot of questions from people saying, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us what you do, because, I'm Matt Allen, doesn't really tell you a little bit about what we do or how we got into real estate. So we thought we'd spend 5 minutes or so kind of going through talking about how we entered the real estate market and anything fun that we can tell about each other. So, and if the person doesn't tell, we'll share.
we'll get it out of each other somehow, right?
That's
Drag
right.
it out. Drag it out.
Tell us about how you started in real estate. I know you have a kind of a different background.
Yeah, sure. So I was in hospitality. That was mainly my main job for most of my life. I've done some other things, sales and account management, but background in hospitality was kind of where I started from. And I worked right here in Orlando. So when I was telling you guys about all the Maker's Mark I used to drink, that was when I was working at a bar downtown called The Lodge there on Orange Avenue.
The Lodge.
And
did you ever go to The Lodge? I don't think I ever visited that one.
Matt, did you ever go
to the Lodge? I know the owners of the Lodge.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I mean, I'm talking from back when I was like 21 years old and 21 in the hospitality industry myself. One of the owners of the Lodge used to be a bar back, actually, at a place that was next to my restaurant that I worked at. And we'd go there after work. And then he ended up buying the bar years later and then opened up the Lodge in multiple other establishments in downtown Orlando.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, there are a few buddies that were like bartenders and stuff downtown and management and all that. They ended up opening up the Lodge together, and one of the owners actually has a couple of the owners now have spaces of their own. But so I used to work down there for a long time. I was in college, and then I would say I was in Orlando for about 9.5 years, and then I moved to New York City, and I started working for New York City. I started working for Tao Group, which they will be opening their first hotel here in Orlando in 2025. So
looking forward to this. Right down the street from my house. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna be like scootering over there, Bo.
I need to get a Tao card. Is there like a Tao card? Like,
is there a Tao card?
Like
they do have an app.
You can see Bo and I scootering down a Pop Divine.
My little electric scooter down there.
Yeah, we might need some better sidewalks for that, but
awesome.
But yeah, so I'm excited to welcome them here because they are still an extended family to me. It was a wonderful time working for them for a little over 10 years.
Wow.
And then I'm essentially a COVID baby. So I was born out of COVID into real estate. It's like,
That's like, wait a minute, what?
The pandemic hit. I was in New York City, and when I saw the way things were going, I started studying for my real estate test, which actually I have to say this was because of my brother, Mike. He was the one that was like, Lauren, you've always had an interest in real estate. If hospitality doesn't come back, you should just start studying, get your license and start working towards it. So yeah. So because of my brother, I started studying for it. And I had the pleasure of meeting Bo at one of his famous New Year's Eve parties back here in Orlando when I was visiting one time.
And let's talk
And,
a little bit about that when Bo's up. 'Cause I'm not sure I'd ever been with her.
That's awesome, Lauren. And
I
but
don't
yeah,
remember.
we got lucky to meet. But what made you just choose to come to Florida versus staying in New York and doing real estate? Just out of curiosity.
well, okay, so I have family that lives here, obviously. So I have my brother Jim that lives here in Orlando,
Okay.
and he's friends with Bo. So that was a main pull for being here in Orlando. My best friend Marina also lives here, and I have quite a few friends from my time in college here, as well as my time working in hospitality here. So Orlando was kind of chosen because of that. We were initially thinking Tampa. The reason for leaving New York was also, not to get a little dark here, but my sister passed away in 2019. And the idea was to just get closer to family, because I had been thinking about doing that after she passed. And then we went through the pandemic. So it was kind of, that all kind of just pushed the decision a little bit faster. So that's how we made the decision to move to Florida. Again, Tampa was first, but then, you know, when I talked to my brother, he was like, you better get your ass here. And I talked to Bo, and Bo was like, come on.
We weren't going to let you go to Tampa.
Right.
That wasn't
Good
going to happen.
choice. Good choice.
No,
Well,
nothing,
cool.
not like dissing Tampa, but you needed to be in Orlando.
Yeah. No, I mean,
then-
I love Tampa, and that would have been cool to be a little closer to my family. And of course I love like the Gulf Coast and everything, but I'm really glad that I chose Orlando. I think for a transition from New York, I feel like Orlando's larger
Mhm.
in terms of like a city, and there's just a lot more going on here, in my opinion, that I think will be
If you're from Tampa,
nice
we don't have
transition.
anything against Tampa. That's my
Yeah.
my what do you call that? We
I don't
like
know, what-
Tampa.
But you're
Like
such a
Orlando
schmoozer.
better.
We're schmoozing. What a nice gentleman he is.
I know, right? Anyway,
So Lawrence, then you came in and you decided to jump in both feet into real estate and come work with me at Julian Properties, and right through the heat of COVID, right? Actually,
Mhm.
it was like crazy. And
We were wearing masks to show homes. Remember
we were
those
wearing
days?
masks. We couldn't shake hands. It was such
Yep.
an awkward
booties.
introduction.
We have
Yeah, the bow.
People were
Oh,
like,
the
you know,
booties.
running out of the house like you had like leprosy, the owners, before you walked in the door.
to wash
it
your
was
hands.
like-
douse
It was, yes, there was more hand sanitizer than I'd realized God even allowed on the earth everywhere. It was a weird time. So Lauren, you
Yeah.
jumped in at a really, really, really interesting time. But what you did is you jumped your both feet into the fire. And I think you had a crash course in the real world of real estate, didn't you?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I feel like that whole time was, I mean, everyone went through the pandemic, so everyone had like a really weird transition, right? But for me personally, like coming off, like going through like the loss of my sister, and then making a big move to Florida, which I absolutely love New York City, but my whole family moving down here for my daughter and my partner Mateo for his first time. They have never lived in Florida before, so it was like, you know, a lot of transitions and then transition careers. So, but it's been really good, and I have to say, like, I'm really happy of the choice to work with you, Bo, and your family, because it's a wonderful company, and you know, it's great to have you as a mentor. And now I've met Matt, who's also been a wonderful mentor too. So it's been really great.
Well,
Yeah.
we're lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you. We're lucky you chose
Definitely.
us.
You're one of the hardest working girls out there. You're always looking for the newest and latest and greatest in real estate. And I definitely, you know, if you're looking for somebody to help you find something, she's one of
Lauren
the
is a
good ones out
go-getter.
there.
She is. She's a hardworking lady. She always
Ethical,
one thing,
honest.
extremely ethical. Will always find the answers. She does a lot of research. She's very cerebral. And you know, you certainly, I agree with you 100%. You can't go wrong. And she's got a great personality. She's really, really, really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want to turn this into the Lauren
Sure.
show, so I appreciate all
So
of
we'll
that,
just
guys. I
we'll
appreciate
just sign off, and Lauren can talk the rest of the
Go
hour.
ahead, Lauren, it's yours. Take over.
What the-
Yeah, yeah. And then, all right. Well, so Lauren, so then so you made the decision, and then now here you are. How many years? It's been what, like 3 or 4 years? 3 years later? 4 years later?
It'll
Where we
be
at?
it'll be 4 years. Well, since I really started with you, probably 4 years in October.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what have you
Cool.
found about real estate as far as choosing the career and changing a career path? So what has kept you doing real estate and drives you to continue your career in real estate? What do you like about the job or the career most? What drives you to it?
Well, I think one, you're working for yourself, right? So that's pretty cool. You're an entrepreneur, which is it's difficult and it's challenging, but I think the challenging aspects about it are what keep it interesting, because you kind of never know what you're signing up for on a day-to-day basis. Real estate is evolving constantly between laws and personalities and all the different things that kind of come up. I think for that, like, it keeping you on your toes, it's not a boring job, so it'll definitely keep you interested and excited. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much why I like it. I mean, I also think it's nice for me too, because I did study business marketing in college, and it's a bit of the business marketing. It's also very much a service job. You are serving others, right? So I come from the service industry, so I think it kind of connects a lot of my background, and it allows me to utilize that on a daily basis.
Yep.
So
100%.
that's awesome. And then, so what do you find in real estate? What do you find the most challenging about real estate?
I would say it's a double-edged sword, like everything that I just said. Like, when everything's changing so much, you really do just have to like stay on top of things constantly.
Yeah.
And the personalities too, like you just like I said, you never know what you're going to deal with. I know you guys have been in this longer, so you have more stories than I could even count for. But that's one of the challenging things, right? You just kind of have to learn how to roll with the punches and have a really strong backbone, I guess, and just kind of stay focused and steer the course, because at the end of the day, your goal is to get someone's house sold, and you just have to stay focused.
Do you find, I think it's interesting when you first started in real estate, and I still remember it all these years later, but to your point about staying in the game and staying focused, I think people think, oh, you're just going to jump into this industry and kind of go show a house, and and it's really simple
Yeah,
process.
it's cute. It looks like selling sunset. Like, I'm going to put on a cute outfit and open up my Porsche.
Yeah, right. It seems like that, but people don't realize that it's really a 24/7, 365 job, and I think that's one thing about the real estate industry that a lot of people that are thinking about getting into it, or they get into it, I think they're surprised a lot of times that, wow, this is a real job. I say it's not a job, it's a career.
Yeah.
And you really got to have a passion for it. And to your point, I think with your background in the service industry and your marketing background and everything, I think that's what makes you really, really good at your job. And I think that's why you have the success you have, and to continue to grow your success. I mean, you're killing it. So keep up the good work. And then there's
thanks, Bo. Appreciate that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, guys, we can't talk about me all day. We need to get to one of you guys, because everyone wants to hear guys. So I am going to take this and I'm going to move it to Matt, because I want to hear Matt. I do know about you, and I do know some of your background, but I don't know you as well as Bo does. So I want to hear about your story. I know, don't we both share a hospitality background? Is that true?
Well, no.
Or maybe I lied. I made that up. Okay.
I came from a health, well, I guess so, a health club background. So, yeah, I just want to mention one point with I completely 100% agree with Bo as far as, a lot of people get into real estate and the first thing is, well, I'm my own business. I can do what I want. I don't have a set schedule. And that kind of mentality actually hurts them versus someone who has gone and done 9 to 5 or done, 10 to 6, whatever. and they're used to that. And I always say, if you're used to that, continue doing it in real estate, because it's very easy to say, I'm in real estate. I don't have much going on today. I'll just, head to the beach or something. So, but I definitely think, the most successful people treat it as a career, and they do follow it through, as a full-time position.
Right.
But
Business. You got to run it like a business.
yeah, 100%. I grew up in upstate New York. I went to college in Western Massachusetts. I got my master's degree in Waco, Texas, actually, Baylor University.
Sorry to
And
interrupt. How did you end up in Waco?
yeah, so it's an interesting story. They had a program available, and it was they were offering graduate assistantship, and I was poor, so I said let's give that a go. I loved it. It was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Went out there and was able to get my master's degree in exercise physiology. I was very interested in working in with football teams. I had the opportunity to work for the University of Texas for as my internship for their football team off season. So I was able to. It was just an amazing opportunity. I got to meet anybody and everybody, including President Bush and a lot of NFL players and whatnot. So it was really cool. They would come in and work out alongside the football players.
That's awesome. What when you were going there and then studying, what was your goal? Like what were you thinking? Like, okay, this is what I want to do for my job.
Yeah, ideally, it's called strength conditioning coaching. And that's really, I come from a coaching background. My dad was a coach for many years, and that was kind of the path that I was looking to go on. The problem with that path is it doesn't, at that time, it pays real well now, but it didn't pay enough to pay my bills. So I kind of looked at an alternate path, and that's when I moved to Boston, started in the corporate fitness. So I was working in corporate fitness for a long time, running health clubs. We used to put health clubs inside of large businesses like the John Hancock building. We had a private health club in there that I ran, and I really enjoyed that as well. I was just presented with an opportunity to work with family, just like yourself, Lauren. I felt I needed a better connection with my family. My two brothers live down here, so that's kind of where I ended up making the decision to come down here 2002 to kind of start in real estate. Man, it feels like a million years ago now I'm talking about it.
Well, it's been a while when you put it that way, right? 22 years ago.
It's been a score plus.
I'm getting old.
You're measuring in scores.
Scores. It was 4 score and
4 scores.
Score in 2 years, but yeah, that's a score, man. You're measuring in scores now.
Anyway,
so both of your brothers lived here in Orlando, and that's how you relocated to Orlando. Okay.
We started a business together. We started over in East Orlando selling real estate, and we ended up getting connected with a mortgage firm out of the UK, which is a whole other story. But so we started selling vacation rental homes down in the Davenport area, which is still a very popular area for vacation rentals. If you're looking for a vacation rental, that's a great place to start. And that's where we kind of started and grew our business down there. We franchised and grew our offices and kind of went through the gamut of property management, short-term rental, title, mortgage. So yeah, I've kind of touched on pretty much all of those. At this point in my life, I'm kind of concentrated on Dr. Phillips, Windermere, Winter Garden, that sort of area, and really just focusing on residential I have a brother that works in commercial, and my other brother went back into the hotel business, which maybe is what you're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Matt, I think I missed it though. So like, was your brother in real estate when you moved down here, and then that's what you joined, like the family business doing that? Is that how that happened?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. The day I arrived, the next day I started real estate school. So yeah, I don't know where y'all went, but it was IFREC at the time.
I
was
went
the
to
name
school
of
there.
it. And,
Yeah, I went there too.
I went all day, every
I went to
day
Real
for
Estate
a week.
Express online.
Oh, nice. Nice.
They're actually awesome.
Yeah. So when we went to
Yeah.
school, you actually had to go to school.
Yeah, we had to go to
sit
school.
in the classroom.
They
and
didn't
then-
have online.
No. And we
I actually would have preferred that, but obviously it was the pandemic when I was taking it, so those options were off the table. But
I actually got my first cell phone when I moved here to Florida. I didn't have a cell phone in Boston.
No. Wow.
good for you. So how did you get to and from clubs to like know which ones you had to be at when you were running them? Like, did you just use MapQuest and they paged you?
Well, Lauren, we had
have
phones. It wasn't like we didn't have phones. We
There's
just
no such thing
we
as
would
map.
pick it up and call each
He
other.
was using the sun and following the
know.
shadows to get to the
They would draw hieroglyphics on the side of the gym.
He had his little sundial and compass.
I mean, how old do you think we are, Lauren? I know you're a youngin.
I'm kidding. I'm not that young because I do remember when I didn't have a cell phone for a while and I had
Mhm.
a pager.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
had
I had
a
a
pager.
pager, a pen pager. Yeah,
What?
like a
10 pager. I never had a pager.
It was a pager. It was a pen pager, like a pen. It's in your top pocket.
Hmm.
It was fancy. It was kind of like a MacGyver thing.
Nice.
Very
nice.
cool. You're like, nobody knows that someone else is trying to send me a message.
That's right. That's right. So Matt, you stayed in it all these years. So now it's been what, 20, 22, 23
22
years?
years.
For you?
22 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
So
still
how do you like it? How do you like real estate?
I like it. I'm still trying it out. Maybe in a couple years I'll decide whether I want to stay in it or not.
I think I'm pretty sure you like it, but I'm just saying, like,
I do. Hey, I go back to it's enjoyable to help families realize what their goals are, and that's really what it comes down to. And I'm sure Bo would agree too. It's just to be able to help that family that either has moved down here, they're downsizing, upsizing, whatever it might be. It just I love that aspect of helping people. That's what I did in the fitness, and I've kind of always delivered that type of customer service in real estate as well. It's just whatever their needs are. I know all three of us are not the pushy salesman, like what do we need to do to get you in a house today mentality. And that's why I think we all kind of share in that philosophy, and I definitely think that that's important. I think there's a lot of people out there that are, especially with an up market, which we've been in for a few years. It attracts people that are just like, we just need to sell. I don't care what happens. I don't follow up. Once you're sold, I'm disappeared. I have clients from years ago that I'm good friends with. We still go out and have dinner or go do something. That's important to me more so than the number of units or things like that. I want to make sure that people never talk bad about me, and that's important to me. So
you are your brand.
yeah,
You are
100%.
That's true, yeah.
person. So
100%.
And it's more than just a transaction, as you said. It's it's about getting to know people and helping them to achieve their goals.
Right.
And at the end of that, the problem is that we both all three of us work like that. So you're kind of stuck with us if you do a deal with us. So don't work with us unless you want to.
Yeah, you're stuck with us for life, man.
That's it.
Anyway. All right, so we're getting to 40 minutes. I'm gonna pull Mr. Julian up here, and
yeah, I'll be quick. I'll be quick. So
no,
I feel like we need to play like Rocky music, like dun 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 dun.
wow. Well, I don't. All right, all right.
The man with the most years experience, Bo. How did you get into real estate? Talk to us a little bit.
So my story is it's what's the best way to put it? I guess it's a family tradition.
Family tradition.
So my family's from Tennessee originally, and my grandfather was a real estate developer. Back in 1956, he came down to Orlando with his business partner and started building some homes for the engineers for Martin Marietta on the east side of town. And he was going back and forth between Florida and Tennessee with his 5 children at the time, driving up a station wagon up and down the interstate weekly. His business really kind of took off, and his children grew up, and 4 out of the 5 children ended up in real estate development, building, and real estate brokerage businesses. And so I am the product of one of those children. My mother, Carlene, founded our brokerage in 1984. And
1984.
1984. So that's when she started the brokerage.
Lauren, were you born in 1984?
I was 1 year old.
1984 was a good year. 1984 was a good year.
I had the best pair of parachute
Pretty
pants
good year too.
in 1984.
Yeah. So, so basically, fast forward to I told myself my whole life I wasn't going to be in the family business. And I was in the hospitality industry. Got to meet quite a few lifelong friends in that industry. And at some point, I actually kind of got hurt. I hurt my back skiing on a snow ski trip, and ended up, long story, I had to come home, and I was waiting tables, and so it was very painful. And I ended up,
I'm sorry, Bob, but when you said you had to come home, where were you? Were you just on a
I
trip?
was
I was on a mountain in Colorado.
No, but like you were just on a trip. You weren't like living away from Orlando. You were
No,
living in Orlando.
nope, I was living in Orlando. Yep, still living in Orlando, going to school, going to Valencia College, community college,
Okay.
waiting tables, had an apartment, doing that whole deal.
Working hard.
And then, bottom line, Dad said, "Hey, you need to maybe go get your license," and so I went and failed miserably. I failed the exam, and I was like the youngest kid at the time. I was 19.
All right, I'll precursor. That is not an easy exam. So,
well, back then it was 30%.
30% pass rate on that thing.
Back then, I think it was like 20. Honestly, it was crazy, and I was the youngest kid in the class. At that time, the average broker agent was 55 years old. I was 19, and I failed the class. So I kind of stayed at the hospitality, stayed in the school, whatever, and went back, took the test, passed the test. I pressed A, and so funny story. Back then, when I passed the test, you could take the state exam, but you could only take it. It was offered in Miami once a year, Orlando once a year, and Pensacola once a year. And you had to take it with these proctors in these massive exhibit halls with thousands of people from all over the state. And so if you failed the test, depending on where you were, you would have to travel to another city like 4 months later. But if you didn't do it within 12 months, you lost your license, your class.
Start over.
I lost my class exam because I didn't take the test again after I failed the state. Winner.
I didn't know this story.
Yeah. So being the Mensa student that I am, I ended up going back to real estate school, going back to the state exam,
Can you
and
imagine?
voila. Suddenly, I was blessed with a license, and
so wait, Bo, how long did it take for you to get licensed?
Like 3 years or something like that. I don't even know. It was like 3 years by the time I went through this whole.
So this was like 20, 30 years ago, right? So
20.
Anybody listening, he's had his license. He's a broker, whatever.
So anyway, so I went. I said I still have my license, but my uncle offered me a job to go do some development with him in South Carolina, and he had a project here in Orlando. Did that for about a year with him, and anyway, long story short, I started getting into sales with my mom in 1996, and been there ever since. So that's what I've been doing, and my mom had retired about 10 years or so ago, and I took over ownership of the company, and kind of been doing it ever since with running the real estate game. So that kind of just born into the industry, I guess. So that's what I've been doing. That's my story, and I don't have much of another story because I don't know how to do anything else. So here I am.
Well, no, I think it's pretty cool, like that it sounds like, based on what you just described, that you spent a lot of time learning the business, even from the development side, prior to even entering the sales side of it.
That's correct. I actually meeting with the block mason, meeting with the surveyors, meeting with the guys digging footers, helping lay down rebar.
And that's why you know so much, though, because I have to say, like, I know, because when we work together, right, and you know so much about homes and the construction of homes, and that helps with this when you're selling, because you know the intricacies of what goes into actually building a house.
Yeah. So that's where I learned that stuff, that construction stuff. And then, of course, like I said, my family were builders too. My dad. So I grew up on a construction site. So that was always just construction always interested me. And I started in a new home community, selling custom new homes. It was my first gig. We would actually. The market was really soft back then in the mid 90s. You're kind of going through the .com kind of bust and everything else. And so I had to trying to sell lots that nobody would buy for high-end homes. And so we ended up having to subordinate lots and cut deals with builders and sell them and then get paid later on, years later. I mean, I've done all kinds of stuff, but I learned a lot. So it was fascinating. So I love meeting people. I think, to your point, of course, I love the relationships. I mean, the folks that are best friends with, or and known most of my life, are through this industry. But I also love the art of the deal.
Yes,
kind of gets me more
that is.
I love the part of negotiations. I get fired up.
There's a thrill in it, right?
I totally agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's why I like the transaction, right? The negotiations, and keeping all the balls in the air to get it to the closing table and pick up my favorite part, which is the check.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of think it's similar to like when you're making, like it's a busy bar and you're making a drink and there's so much going on. There's so many people there. You're like 4 people deep and everyone needs a drink. And you're like, I can get all these drinks together and serve.
So true. You're like in the weeds, but you got to control the weeds, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to be a short order cook in college, and I used to thrive on that. Like there'd be like 50 hamburger orders, and the grill would be, and I'd be like, I can do this. And I'd be like ripping through the orders just because it's a thrill. It's something you look forward to.
And to be good in real estate, quite frankly, I believe that all good brokers have to be very good multitaskers.
100%.
You must multitask. Yep. You must be able to keep all the balls in the air. So it's a learned process. But yeah, so good stuff. So it looks like we've got so between us all, we probably got like 100 years of experience, it looks like.
Something like that.
Lauren is our between you, Matt. We're I don't know how much we're going to be around on this earth, dude.
All you're doing is saying how old we are. We talk a lot about real estate, and one of the things that Bo, to his attribute, did was really, his real estate brokerage. He grew it himself. He really moved it from more of that building side to more residential to one of the top. I mean, you're number 45, right? Number 44 this year. So he was. I always give him props because he grew the company into what it is today, which is one of the most recognizable names in Dr. Phillips.
Oh, you recently had like the professionalism award, right? It was professionalism.
Yeah, well, I was up for it. We got nominated.
Okay. So you were nominated.
Yeah,
right.
Get it? Yeah, got that. Yeah, so that
and
was.
You made it into the top 50 Orlando realtors, right? For sale production. So
we were blessed with that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So those are some great accolades.
Thank you. So that's my story. So what's next, kids? It's the whale of the
week. All right.
I'm glad because my ice has already melted.
I know. You know what I've started doing is bringing extra ice in.
See, Matt, this is a
But-
genius move, and you need to share it with your friends next
Oh.
time.
You're a bartender. We would think you know better.
I'm sorry, I don't have a freezer
Retired bartender, I should say.
in my extra bedroom.
Oh my goodness. So here we go.
Lauren, help me out with that. You made it. I can't say that. You made it big last.
You're learning, right? Because you know what's going to happen if you
Those
say
of
that.
you that are listening, we're
What
talking about the screen
what are you
for the
hitting
photos
to
of
make
the
it
house.
do that? I
I'll
can't
show you
even
later.
talk anymore.
All right.
Matt's like
all right.
Matt's like you made it big. I'm
Yeah,
Okay.
Matt, you've got
All right, I'm done talking for the
the
rest of the
screen
podcast.
and the photos of the home
I'm done.
are larger. So today we're going to talk about 9291 Point Cypress Drive in Dr. Phillips, Florida. Now, this is a really unique property.
You think?
Yeah, it's super unique. I'll tell you a little bit about it here in a minute, but basically it's a 14,700 square foot home. It is was built in 1999, and it is currently listed at 19,500,000, reduced from a mere
Mhm.
25 million. So
This is
really,
the-
really.
This is actual Jumanji. Like if you
I was just
envision
I was
what it
gonna
was
say
like,
Jumanji. It is Jumanji.
Nailed it, Lauren.
it really is.
Jumanji, like the movie, like this is where it should be filmed. This is, if you think Jumanji, this is the house.
Right.
So this house has an interesting background. So essentially, the family that owns this home had it built as a vacation home. It's not their primary residence. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they've been here for like 10 years. So they are actually a
Wow.
industrialist family. They're into big bunch of industrialist shipping and so on and so forth. So when they bought this property, it's a very unique piece of property. It's about 2.5 acres located on the Butler chain in a community called Cypress Point. What's really, really unique about this neighborhood is in the community, there is a peninsula that comes out into the lakes. And there are homes as you drive out, about 5 or 6 homes to the point of the peninsula. There are about 5 or 6 homes that have water in the front and water in the back. So you're basically passing like these essentially like $7 to like, $12 million sort of price range homes going to this estate, which is actually the entire end of the peninsula on about 2.5 acres. Now, the story about this home, and I know that those that are listening can't see it, but essentially when this gentleman built this house, and I've been in this home, he went to the designer for the Animal Kingdom. So the
really?
Animal
I didn't know.
Kingdom
Mhm.
actually helped design this house. So not only does it look like something you literally would see in Jumanji or Animal Kingdom,
Mhm.
once you enter the home, it is absolutely crazy because what they do, and I don't know, I think you guys might be flipping through some of the interior photos, but all of the woodwork, for those that are listening, all of the woodwork was sent over seas, and it was like hand carved. So every single like column is every
There you go. That is a good
trim,
picture.
is actually hand carved, and then on top of that, they have these artists that come in and actually paint these carvings. So, for example, a column looks like it's got like leaves and a flower. It literally looks like a leaf, and a flower.
Yeah,
and
we're looking at it right now.
it's the whole house. So you're talking like 15,000 square feet of this. One of the most fascinating, and I don't know if you guys can get to the picture for those that are watching on YouTube, but one of the really interesting features of this home, one of the coolest things I think I saw was going into the home theater of the home. It has 2 doors that pocket back into the wall. But when you actually close the doors and you're getting ready to go into the theater, there are thousands of little faces carved into the door of
Mm.
the theater. And
Really?
all the faces are of famous people: Michael Jackson, Madonna.
Wow.
I mean, it goes way
Very
back.
cool.
The Three Stooges. I mean, you name it. You're talking about going through basically 100 years of Hollywood. All of those faces are carved in 3-dimensional, in 3D on the doors. So the whole door is nothing but thousands of faces of famous people, and they're all painted. So it looks like all these real
Oh my
It's
God.
amazing. It's crazy looking.
That is cool.
They've got this amazing home, the office, and the office looks like something out of like again, like maybe a Jumanji.
It looks like
Harry
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
like
I
the
was gonna,
library.
I was gonna go with Harry Potter on this
Harry
one.
Potter.
Harry Potter, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and it's like this 2-story office, and it's got this spiraling staircase. It looks like it's going up into the heavens, and it has these ropes that come down and to look like it's holding up the second story of the
Like a bridge, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bridge that goes around the library for getting to higher up books. I mean, this house, it's just listen. If you are a Disney fanatic,
Look at those.
like this
carvings.
is the house for you. Like I'm surprised Disney, quite frankly, hasn't bought this house.
I know, I agree. I think this would be such a cool, like maybe send like their super VIP clients.
Correct.
That come
I
and
mean,
stay.
it's right at Disney's back door. You can see Disney's fireworks from that house. They have a guest house. It's like, I mean, the amount of
those are real plants, by the way. That is
yeah.
real plants.
Yeah, they have real flowers and trees
All
planted all throughout the master bathroom. I think there's 12 bedrooms, 13 full baths, 2 half baths. Like I said, it's not only do you have the main house, it has a guest house with like a 6-car garage or something. I can't remember, 4-car garage or 5-car garage. I'm sorry, a 5-car garage. It's got a major resort style pool, and then off of the pool they have like a cabana area which has got bathrooms and showers and grills, and like I mean it's literally like living at a resort.
It's a resort, yeah.
Yes, it is, and it's
so what's the
by
square
water.
footage?
It's a heated square feet is 14,700. Total under square foot total square footage is, bear with me here just a moment. Trying to find it. I can't find it. I think it's like
that's okay. Over 14,000 heated square foot. I mean, look at that peninsula. You've got Lake Tibbet, Lake Sheen. So you are on the Butler chain of lakes right there.
Took about 10 years because of the craftsmanship of this house. It actually took about 10 years to build this house because they sent everything over to be handed in the Philippines and then sent it all back. Right. And shipped it all back over the sea. So I mean, everything is.
Look at that. It's like I keep going back to Jumanji. It's like you're entering a separate jungle of trees and stuff. If you look at that picture, it's kind of set off by itself, and you've got a entire peninsula before. I think that's Lake Sheen over on the other side.
You got Lake Sheen and Lake Tibbet.
Lake Sheen Reserve.
And Lake Tibbet Butler. So it's about 2.4 acres that the property is on. That's just the house and then in addition to that, because it's on a peninsula, the actual water management district or the conservation district owns a massive parcel around the island, basically like the island, the peninsula as well. So you have it's literally like you're living on an island.
Right.
in a
Jumanji.
Except it's in a gated community, so you get to enter through a 24-hour man-gated community into your private island, and it's there's tons of parking there too. I do know that because
it's got
a listing there.
Driving back to the house, once you go through the gates to the estate, they have these bronze wildlife,
really
like life size, like zebras. Like legitimate bronze.
I looked over there and thought there was like real wild animals. I'm like,
elephants, giraffes. Like you literally, it's like driving. Into
I gotta go back there.
Jungle. It's pretty wild, So for anybody that's really eccentric, major Disney fan, if that's your thing, this is your house. So
that is cool. What a cool whale of the week.
If you're interested, feel free to reach out to any of the three of us. We'll be happy to show it to you and prepare all offers and make this your dream home.
And
I did want to say, and I know we're getting very close on time, but at this whale at 19.5 with it being on a peninsula of 2 lakes on the Butler chain, and then we're looking at some of the other whales that we've had, right? Like, what do you think about?
Well, I mean, the property alone is probably, in my opinion, probably worth like $7 or $8 million is my guess. I don't know. I mean, I that some people might say that's high, but you've got 2.5 acres in a guard gated community surrounded by water on 3 or 4 sides. So, find another one. I mean, we're seeing Isleworth just had a sale, I think, for $7 million for I think like a 1.5 acre property. I think there was another one that was 1 acre for 3.5 million. So,
Right.
you got 2.5 acres here. Plus, again, like I said, plus all
Right.
the others around,
Right.
and you're surrounded by water on 3 sides. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
very unique, one of a kind. I
yeah.
think
And
one
the
of the
location, it's so close to Disney
Yeah.
and the airport and everything because of the location. And you get to see Disney fireworks every single night. And you can
Right.
drive
Mhm.
minutes and be at Disney World. You can drive 20 minutes and be at the airport. Like, you're there where it's a great location.
this is
Right.
one of those properties like Shaquille O'Neal's house, where it's a very specific house. It's going to take
Yeah.
a very specific buyer that is, highly into this style, and I think that's one of the reasons it's been on the market for a while. I
That's
think
right.
the agent is trying to target, or should be targeting, a specific population, at one Disney fan, or somebody that's
Club 33 members,
like
like all
the
Disney Club
the
33
golden
Oh,
old
yeah.
type owner, or type buyer. So
30.
But I will also say though, like there wasn't. When did this go on the market? Like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's been like 9, but I mean, it was at 25 million before.
Yeah.
It's been on the market almost 900
Yeah,
days.
I know, but the point that I'm trying to make is that there weren't a lot of like 25-30 million dollar homes 3 years ago, right?
No.
As a matter of fact,
Nope.
I mean, I think we had the highest. What was it? 32 million, 33 million. That house was fairly new, and it just sold last year, right, Matt? I
Yep.
think it was
Right.
last
Yeah.
year. Yeah. So that was good.
So the point that I'm getting at is that Orlando is getting there. We are
Yeah.
getting there to that we are supporting
They're-
that sort of price range. And
Right.
and even though this has taken a price cut to I think 19.5, honestly, it sounds crazy. That might be a deal for that house. Like when you're seeing homes listed at 30 million that
I think
have,
if it wasn't for the decor of this house being
Right.
so
I would agree. Well,
specific,
100%.
it would have already
Right.
sold a while ago. The problem is, if
Right.
you're not a giant Disney Jumanji fan, you probably have got like another $5 million.
My son would
Right,
love
but
this
that's
house.
if you are in construction or you love to work on your weekends, this would be a great house for you because
If you love to work on weekends.
This is going to sell to someone
Woohoo!
this is going to sell to someone that's probably extremely the 1%ers, probably maybe even the billionaire, close to billionaire status. I think they're going to have like put a helipad on it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's going to be, obviously someone's going to be probably, 300-500 million plus, right? So,
right.
but it's perfect for like that kind of person that wants to have a place in Orlando and Disney, like these folks that have a vacation home here,
Yep.
a helipad on it. There's a couple of things you can do. Really, there's even room to build a whole nother house on this property. And that's
Yeah.
another
Mhm.
financial perspective. Not that you would want to do it, right, if you live there and it was yours, but from a investment perspective, there's an opportunity right there just to peel off a piece and still have your estate and still pick up maybe $3 to $5 million extra just on that one property once you fix this one up.
Yep.
So anyway,
So anyways, if you're
Great
out there
information.
and you're looking for a home that looks just like Jumanji on the Butler Chain of Lakes here in Orlando, Florida, we would love to help you. It is 19.5.
You know what?
That is the
First
way.
of all, I'm not going to let you get away with this, Lauren. You do a fantastic whale. I want to hear it. Or did we already hear it? I missed it.
no,
It's
we didn't hear it. We didn't hear it.
I think it's the bourbon that makes us think that it's actually good, because when I listen to this sober, it doesn't sound great. But we're gonna go with that.
I love it.
I
You
love
know
it.
what? I don't care. I love it. And if it's just for my entertainment,
I know.
know.
Right? Right? Thank you, Lauren,
Right,
for
well-
entertaining us. All right, you guys. I think that about wraps it up. We
You're welcome to wrap this up.
what's that? Hello?
I said, are we gonna wrap this up? Is that
think-
do we have anything
yeah.
else to add here?
Yeah, no, I think unless you guys have anything. Do you have anything?
No, we're good.
Maybe that's what we should do, is roll it around. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
I'm good,
Nope.
guys. I think we had a very, very productive evening
Yep.
conversation. It's
Yep.
been good to learn a lot about you guys and hear your stories again. So
Hey, if you guys
I enjoyed
are,
that too.
I will give another reminder that we are on all of the podcast stations. We are getting ready to do a huge launch here, and we are on YouTube. So if you want to watch us, Be crazy kids. It's Brokers and Bourbon at Brokers and Bourbon on YouTube. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Miss Lauren to wrap us up.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening to us today. I agree, Bo. It's been really great to have all of us get to know each other a little bit more personally, and I hope that our listeners have enjoyed that as well. We will have a great episode coming up for you. I think we might be off next week because we do have the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yes.
We'll be out drinking bourbon with everyone here in Dr. Phillips, so that'll be fun. But again, we really enjoyed being in your ears.
Cheers, guys.
All right, everybody. Cheers. Have a
Cheers,
good
you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.